Welcome to another video, A Walk with Phil. And I'm in a very familiar place again. I'm in Dawes Avenue here in West Bromwich, and I'm going to have a look at the KELVIN factory just over the way from here. In a previous video, which I've now taken down, I suggested that the old Jensen factory was in a particular spot where Stevens coaches are now operating on a forecourt there. I asked the person who was in the porter cabin, was this part of the old Jensen factory? He was explicit in his response and said yes it was, and he even told me where to go around the back of the factory where you'll see this and that. The door here, this is the main reception area for Jensen Motors. And so I took him at his word and did a bit of filming around there, and of course one or two of you out there told me you're completely wrong. That ain't the old Jensen factory, that's some other building or other. Someone suggested it was an old metal closures building. I'm not really sure. But anyway, I've decided to come back, revisit the area and show you where the actual Jensen factory operated from. It's from a premises called the KELVIN Trading Estate. So that is where we're going to go, and we're going to have a look and see what's around there. Okay, we're standing near to the gatehouse of Jensen, and this bay here, this would be bay 8. This one here, that would have been the production line that would have been the main offices at the time before the one behind me was constructed. It was the drawing offices, it was the developmental workshops were housed there. There was a service department block further on up that road there. And if we look here, round here, that would have been bay 9, which would have been the production line for the Volvo P1800 for between 1961 and 62, and later it would have been the Sunbeam Tiger that was also producing the CV8, but by 1965 that was discontinued, and the Interceptor was starting to be constructed on this particular bay here. This would have been bay 1, and on this particular line they was doing the Austin Healeys in this bay here. These are, I don't think any of these are original bays, and in actual fact in bay 9, just behind this van here, the Volvo P1800 track was actually laid by Volvo when they come to look at the facilities of Jensen, and they laid the track here in bay 9. And as I said, they produced the P1800 for a couple of years, between 61 62. Roger Moore used the Volvo P1800 in the Saint episodes. In fact, he was so impressed with the car, he actually bought one for himself. And and he was driving one around in the series, but he was also driving one in real life up and down the country. Bay 2 here on my left. This is where they'd be doing the Healeys, Interceptors. The Interceptor FF was built in bay 1, bay 2, much later on, towards the end of Jensen's life. Bay 3 here, where he's got number 12. The machine shop on here. Where we got number 13, that would have been bay 4. Not sure what they did in bay 4 actually. Number 14, bay 5, that would have been the trim shop. And when they did factory tours, which Jensen were very enthusiastic about, showing local people and organisations around the factory, these were the most interesting bays actually, the trim shops, and especially the body panel shop. which was next to it at number 15. Number 15, there'll be bay 5, bay 6. Yeah, so they'll be doing the body panels. And bay 7. Which would have been number 17. Would have been the jig and chassis bay. And those were the bays where they... number 16 here, as I should say, was the body panel, or the white body bay, where they would put in panels and doors onto the vehicles, and there was no production lines automated back then. It was all manual, pushing the cars along the lines. 17, which is now would have been number 7, would have been the chassis and the jigs in there. And number 18 was a more modern building when they built this KELVIN Way estate. So at the bottom here, would be just beyond all this fencing here. We have the Spon Lane locks for the canal, Birmingham Canal, and also, as you can see, there's a railway line just beyond there. Now the canal served quite a fair few companies along this stretch, because if we go along KELVIN Way, back in the days of pre-Jensen, there'd be foundries and engineering works of all sorts along KELVIN Way, and all this canal would run along all the way down to Kenrick Way. Now, we're looking at the rear of the other side now. And these blocks here, number 47, 49, as you can see, these are all modern blocks built again when KELVIN Way Industrial Estate was constructed. Now I'm not sure of the date when all this was built, but where those blue lorries are over there, just beyond there, there'd have been some parking for the personnel who worked here. And also it was the dispatch area. So what I'm going to do is going to take you back up this road now, and we're going to go into check the other side of what was Jensen, and what bays were on my left hand side. So at number 19, we'd probably be saying that was bay, what should we say, bay 13, which would be the panels and fiberglass shop. Number 19 would be number 13. At number 20 next door would have been bay 12. And as we look at bay 21, that would have been bay 11. And it was outside here, just here with these red skippies, there would have been paint stores here. So there'd be paint shops. 21, 22 is 21 bay 11, 22 bay 10. These numbers are very confusing. They could have kept the same old numbers, couldn't they, really? Would have helped. And of course we've got bay 23 and 24 were the main bays, because 23 was bay 9. That would have been where they produced the Volvo 1800 I said earlier. And then they started producing the Sunbeam Tiger under licence from the Roots Group. And also they was building the CV8 until that was discontinued in 65. And this one, number 24, that would have been the main development offices and drawing offices. Looking at number 11, which would have been kind of what we say, Bay 8, which have been Bay 1. Number 11 is Bay 1, and 12 is Bay 2. Of course, this is Bay 1 where they would have produced the Austin Healey. Now, the problem we had with Austin Healey is when that car was discontinued in 1967, that was the beginning of the end for Jensen, really, because they couldn't get any government assistance for cash injection to keep the company going. So they decided they was going to make a Jensen Healey instead when the Austin Healey was discontinued, and the Jensen Healey was produced over this end, and it was Shell Cavalli, the main shareholder of the company, appointed Donald Healey as the company chairman to allow him to build the Jensen Healey, because he was now not getting any royalties after the Austin Healey contract ended. So he was appointed as the company chairman, but they only sold 6,000 of Jensen Healeys until that was ended because of very poor quality control. Very poor quality control. Compared with the Austin Healey, where they produced around 60,000-70,000 of them. Here, where they decided to build the Jensen Interceptor, and of course towards the end of Jensen's life they started to build the Jensen FF, which was ahead of its time production car. It had four-wheel drive, and then much later in 2002, some company in Liverpool had the name of Jensen. They tried to resurrect it with the, what do you call, the CV8, but sadly it never took off. The Jensen brothers decided to end their association with the Jensen factory as in 1966 because they didn't like the direction the company was going in when Norcross took over it. So in these blocks here ahead of me, they was building the Jensen Interceptor just beyond this block here. They started building the Interceptor and they made it more luxurious, but the finances were getting worse, and because the government was not prepared to inject any cash, Shell Cavalli, the main shareholder, who was in effect the owner, decided he wasn't going to inject any cash into the business either. So the inevitable happened when the receiver was appointed in 1975 and the company was liquidated in 1976. So there you go. That was a short history of the Jensen factory on this site, which is now the KELVIN Way trading estate. But there's nothing here to suggest that Jensen was ever on this site, except of course the road layout. Okay, so there you go, we'll leave it at that. So if you ever want to come and visit the site for Jensen Motors, it's here at the KELVIN Way trading estate. So there we have it then. So I think this time we have found the exact area of where Jensen Motors operated, at the KELVIN Way industrial estate. Now, as you saw, a bit of a scattergun approach really. All the bays are marked with numbers that are completely different from what they used to be. I don't think there's any of the bays there that are original from the days of Jensen. I've got it in my mind, maybe one or two may have been recladded, but it all looks kind of new to me. It's all very fresh and modern down there, and there's even additional bays being added, or units if you like, added down to the bottom of the KELVIN Way estate. There's nothing left, as I can see, that exists now of Jensen actually ever being there on that particular site. The main road that leads into the area where the bays used to be, obviously that's still there, albeit changed slightly here and there. But there's just absolutely nothing. Wouldn't it be nice if they would have just left a little reminder of it being Jensen Motors, even some signage somewhere to say the home of the once famous, world famous Jensen Motor Company? But alas, nothing there at all. Not that I can see, unless anybody else knows differently. But anyway, we'll leave it at that. Our little history tour of what the Jensen factory looked like back then. I hope you enjoyed it anyway, and if you did, hit the like button and also hit subscribe and hit the notification bell for new videos, and I'll see you on the next one.